Have you ever walked into the grocery store, walked back out, and you have all these bags and you're trying to figure out, well, dang, what am I going to cook for the next 2 weeks? Or have you paid all of your bills and you're sitting there trying to figure out how you're going to do any maintenance stuff for yourself? That can be your hair, that can be your nails, that can be something to do with your car. If so, then this is the video for you. Hi, you guys. My name is Darielle and welcome to my channel, Life with Darielle. If you are new here, I hope you consider subscribing to my channel. But first, let's get into that intro. Hi you guys, as I stated, my name is Darielle and I just want to give a quick disclaimer. These are tips that have worked for me. I have brought myself from trying to figure out how I'm going to get my nails done, my hair done, what am I going to eat, or how am I going to put gas in my car. Granted, yes, now I have a fiance, but prior to this, I was always struggling. But even when we first got together, I was trying to figure it out. And even as we were getting ready to move in, I was like, no, something has to give. And I finally cracked the code. Now, if you're old school like me, you might like to sit there and budget the old school way, which is your handy dandy notebook. Or if you're more of like the new school way and you're not really into paper or anything, you might like to use an iPad or a laptop. So like I said, I'm more of the old school type of person. I need to have stuff written down. And I know some people are going to be like, well, what if you need it on your phone? Baby, take a picture of it. Or I have also done this before where I would create the same budget on my iPad, but what if your iPad or your phone dies? You get what I'm saying? At least you know you'll have a notebook. Now, if you're somebody that likes to carry a cute little tiny purse, I have also gotten smaller notebooks from Dollar Tree before. Well, not a $1.25 store, but I have gotten smaller notebooks from them and I'll just keep it in my small purses and it just does what it needs to do. Or like I said, I also take a picture of it just in case. So let's get straight into it. So tip number one that I have for you guys, I get paid bi-weekly. I don't know if you get paid monthly, if you get paid every week. However you get paid, that's how you should be budgeting. So before I even spend a dime out of my paycheck, I always take the time to make sure I look. So previously, before our system switch, we were able to look to see how much we were getting paid. Now I don't know how much I'm gonna get paid, which I just normally use the last paycheck. Whichever paycheck was the lowest, that's when I always use. And if I get paid more, great, thank God. You get what I'm saying? But I always like to use that smaller paycheck since now I no longer know exactly how much I'm gonna get paid until the day of. So what I do is I use that previous paycheck and then I write out all of my bills that's coming out of that check. So prior to my fiance and I moving in together, one of the things that we both did was discuss our finances. It is so important, quick side note, it is so important before you decide you're going to move in with somebody or get married to them that you discuss all of your finances, discuss all of your debt. Because believe it or not, you may want to try to be secretive or ignore it or just don't want to talk about it. It's eventually going to come up. And the worst thing that you can do is not talk about it and then be blindsided. And you're like, why didn't you tell me about this? So that was one of the first things that we did is we sat down with each other and we wrote down all of our bills, all of our credit card bills, all of our whatever bills we had. And especially for me, somebody who has student loan debt, I also put that on there as well. Just so we can know, okay, where is our money going, and we can be more realistic with ourselves as far as how much we're gonna have left over from those two paychecks, you know, his and I's paycheck. So what I personally like to do is I'll kind of show you guys an example. I won't show y'all my exact bills because those are a little bit personal. So what I've decided to do is that I was going to screen record all of the things that I'm going to be referring to as far as like showing you guys my notebook, my calendars, all of that. I'm going to make sure that I have a screen recording that you'll see in the video so that you can refer to as I'm speaking. Okay, cool. So the first thing, like I said, I like to do is I like to write all of my bills down as well as an estimate of how much I'm going to be getting paid this upcoming pay period. And once I put all of my bills down, I include everything so that I have a realistic view of what I'm going to be left over with after all of the things that need to be taken care of is a priority. All of my priorities are taken care of. What is a priority? You have to learn the difference between your priorities and basically your wants, the things that you actually enjoy doing. So my priorities are things that are required to come out regardless of how I feel. Like if you, God forbid, don't pay them, it's going to go on your credit type of situation. So I make sure things like my car payment, my phone bill, student loans, all of that stuff gets put on the list first, and it's taken out groceries because I need to eat, stuff like that. After that, something that is something fun for me, that's more like a maintenance thing. Everybody has a maintenance thing that they like to do. For me, it's my nails and my toes. For some people, it's their hair, and for other people, it's their lashes. For me, I wear glueless wigs now. I can just deal with glueless wigs. Have either my favorite hairstylist or my sister do some, quick little braids in my head, and then that will last me for about a month and a half, 2 months before I'm like, okay, cool, it's time to wash my hair and do the whole process again. It has saved me money, and you want to try. You don't have to buy $500 wigs, by the way. You definitely don't, but you want to get something that you can use over and over again. This wig was on sale for, I believe, $100, and it's a really good quality glueless hair unit. But anyways, back to what we were talking about. So once I subtract all of my bills out of my paycheck, then I have this view of like, okay, how much do I have left to spend? And if you want to have more than, let's say, $200-300, then you might need to try to cut back on some things. So for instance, if you have student loans, you obviously cannot cut back on that, but a lot of people do not know this. You can call the student loan companies and explain to them that you are not able to make the payments and actually put on a payment plan. I know the federal loans are definitely really good at that, but if you have a private loan, they have them too. It is what it is. So basically how it works is you call them, you explain that you're not able to make the payments. Do not wait until you are, God forbid, defaulting on your loan. Do not wait until you miss 2 to 3 payments. The moment you see that payment and you're not able to pay it, please call them and let them know. And what they'll do is they'll ask you some questions, and whatever you qualify for, they'll let you know. And normally it's a interest reduce payment plan, and it basically reduces how much your interest is on there, which drops the monthly payment down a lot. A lot of times those payment plans will go for a year or sometimes 2 years. So definitely take that into consideration, just so that you can, kind of reduce how much is coming out of your paychecks every month. So that's definitely something I have learned about over the years after having these student loans for quite some time. So on to the next thing. Like I said, after I subtract all that out, cool. My nails. Like I said, nails is an important thing for me. I've been trying to find cheaper alternatives. So I used to be, as you guys, if you've been watching me for some time, you would know I used to love the long nails with all the designs and all of that. But as I got older and, learning more about finances, I learned that I can still look nice without spending too much money. And no matter where I was going, I was spending $180, $200, $200+ every 3 weeks. And I know some people's like, oh, well, that's, once a month. It doesn't matter. That's still a lot of money that can be put towards something else. So my nails itself can range from $130 to $140. And depending on how much I have left over, it depends on the tip. I at least try, especially if you're going to be doing my nails and my toes, I at least try at minimum to tip you $10. I just feel like that's something we should be doing, is tipping people. And like I said, you guys see, I got a very short set. And these were probably one of my cheaper sets that I've had in a very long time. So this is where we'll be at for some time, because, we got other things, it's not as important. As long as they look nice and they're kept up, I'm happy. Gas. Please budget how much you're going to be needing for gas for the next 2 weeks until your next paycheck into your budget. I cannot tell you how many times I have turned around in the past, did not budget out gas, and been asked my mom for assistance, or only been able to put $10 at a time in my car just to kind of make whatever little I had stretched out. Definitely times are a lot different, so $10 definitely is not getting you nowhere nowadays. So definitely try to budget out. Let's say, for instance, my car takes about $40 to $46 to fill it up. I don't put gas in my car anymore. However, it's something that my fiance budgets out in his check, is just to make sure that there's gas always in the car. So you definitely always want to make sure that you're budgeting gas. Now, I know some people are like, well, if I do that, I'm only going to be left with $200-300 to spend on myself after you put something towards your savings and pay all your bills. I'm going to say this to you, and you may not like it. It's a lot better to have your bills paid and have somewhere to rest your head in a car that drives perfectly fine, compared to looking nice all the time. If you want to have a little bit more money left over, there may be some things you need to reevaluate. Is it worth getting your nails done? Is it worth getting your hair done? Is it something that you can teach yourself? Everything that we get done, we can teach ourselves. And some things you just don't want to get rid of, and that is okay. But a lot of people, what I've noticed, they've been getting rid of getting their nails done. They might still get their toes done, but their nails, they wear press-ons. A lot of people have figured out and mastered the skill of making them last longer. So you just have to find different ways. Like, I don't get my lashes done anymore. I do lash strips, I do it myself, and I don't like having lashes on all the time. Girl, ain't nobody trying to be watching them lashes pluck out every time I wash my face. It was getting annoying. So you just have to figure out what works best for you. Like I said, this is things that work for me. I've cut out a lot of things to get my budget to where I am actually happy with. Everything that you have, like I said, these are just sample budgets. So if you do any payment plans for anything else, I know some people use Klarna, Afterpay, those type of things, you need to add that into your budget. Always make sure you're checking the apps, seeing when your payment dates are due, and your credit cards. If your credit card minimum payment is $20 to $25, try to put an extra $20 to $25 on there. It helps pay it off quicker, and especially if you have a high interest on there, it definitely looks better to the creditors compared to if you're only just paying the minimum payment a month. Cool. On to the big bad boy, food. If you know, you know, you've been watching me for some time, your girl loves food. Not only do I love food, I also love to cook my food. So something I have learned moving out of my mama house is you gotta cook. Buying out fast food every day, it gets very expensive, especially for two people. You're talking about for one person, it's still kind of expensive. But once you add a whole nother mouth, the budget increases significantly. So something I have actually started doing, which I'm gonna put an insert into here just so you guys can see, is I thought I was crazy for this. Some of y'all might call me crazy for this. I've already been called crazy. It is what it is. I'm gonna insert a little video in for y'all to see. So I started doing this, I want to say probably about a month ago, almost 2 months ago, because I got tired of every time I walked into the grocery store, I'm realizing, girl, you done walked out, done spent $200 or close to $200, and you barely have anything to cook for the next 2 weeks. You still have to go buy meat, you still have to go get vegetables, but you got a cart full of stuff that you just paid for. I found a solution. What I do is I plan out for the next 2 weeks. Okay, so for me personally, I cook Sunday through Thursday. I do not cook Friday and I do not cook Saturday. That's just too much for me. I'm also still a full-time employee. It's just too much. My fiance understands, it works for us. What works for you is what works for you. If cooking for you works for you, I applaud you, honestly. But for me personally, I cook Sunday through Thursday, and what I've started doing is writing out and pre-planning what I'm going to cook for the next 2 weeks. So what I do is I kind of already almost always know what's inside of the house. I might be off by 1 or 2 items, but I almost always know what's inside of the house. So I figure out, okay, well, what do I want to cook? If I want to cook brown stew chicken, or if I want to cook beef stew, I will write down that's what I'm cooking. Then I'll think of, okay, what's needed for this actual dish. So for instance, for me with brown stew chicken, I always already have my seasonings, but if you know you're running out on certain seasonings, you want to put that on that dish, as well as I need a pack of chicken. If I need rice, I'm going to put rice, and if I need a vegetable, I'm going to put a vegetable. Boom, there we go. That's what we need for that actual dish. On to the next dish, and I'll do that for each dish so that now I know for the next 2 weeks this is what I plan on cooking. Also too, I'm gonna insert a screen recording as well for you guys to show you. A lot of times, so I don't just shop at one store. I am a Publix girly, Walmart. I don't really care for Walmart, but Walmart's a little bit cheaper, and Target. I like Target because Target has a lot of my home items that I need. It has a lot of my personal hygiene products. And what I'll do is I'll create a list. You can actually create a list on Target. If you also just want to write it down on a piece of paper, you can do that as well. And I'll include that. So if for that particular pay period, my budget is $200, that's what I'm going to put, $200. So now I know, okay, cool, this is what I'm going to be actually cooking. These are the items I need. Now sometimes what I'll do just to make sure I'm staying within my budget, and if I need to tweak some things, change a little meal, make a little bit of quicker, little cheaper, affordable meal, I'll do that. So This may be too much for some people, but like I said, it has definitely helped me a lot. Don't knock it till you try it. I'll go on to whatever store. For instance, if I'm going to Walmart, I'll go on to Walmart and calculate. I'll look up the item and see, okay, this is how much this costs, this is how much this is going to cost, and that's going to be my total for that store. Of course, obviously you're gonna have to pay for tax, but at least you kind of have some type of thought process before you walk into the store. I'll do the same thing with other stores as well, just so I can make sure I'm staying within my budget and not going over my budget at all. Now, it's always great when you spend less than what your budget is, because then at least you know if you miss an item throughout the week, like let's say you cooked everything and you forgot one item, at least you have that extra $10 now to go buy that item. You get what I'm saying? So, like I said, that's what I do. Some people think it's crazy, oh, it's too much, but it just, now instead of just walking in the store and picking up, ooh, I like this ice cream bar, ooh, I want to try this sauce, or ooh, I need this item, knowing dang on well I don't need that item. Now I can get in and get out of the store. Obviously, sometimes after I pick up all of my groceries, I still like to kind of walk around. Y'all done seen it in the vlogs. If you haven't checked out a vlog, I'm gonna have it in the description box for you below. But I always, sometimes I like to walk around afterwards, but I stay out of the section where food items and stuff like that. I'll move out of that section. And obviously, I also know too that I have a budget left over for spending money for any little extra things I may want. Like if I need a rug for my home, I'll look and see how much money do I have left and subtract it and see does it make sense, or should I save towards it or get it later on. So you always just want to make sure you're always checking your budget and stuff like that. And like I said, this worked for me. Some people, they just like to write a list down of what they need and call it a day. But like I said, what has worked for me is creating a list of what I'm going to cook for the next 2 weeks and going in the stores and, you know, looking at the price and everything and just make sure I have my money. Also too, if you don't want to use your card, because automatically our brain always registers, oh, I got a little extra few dollars that I, you know, a little wiggle room if I go a little bit over. Another thing I like to do a lot of times is take out the cash for my grocery budget, so I know this is how much I have left over. I know some people are like, well, I don't like cash. It works for me. Also, another tip or suggestion I can give to you guys is getting 2 separate accounts. Have an account specifically for your bills and your groceries, and have an account specifically for your spending money. That keeps your money separate so that you're not touching your bill money, because I don't know how many people have been there, but I know I've definitely been there where I have spent my bill money by accident simply because I just kept swiping compared to, I know now, let me check my account and let me keep my money in one account. You know, it just helps and works for me. So yeah, y'all, that's how I budget and grocery shop and make sure I have my personal hygiene and things that I actually need. Okay, cool. So now on to the last part, the miscellaneous when it comes to budgeting. We are now at a point in our life where we're actually engaging with people more, especially if you get invited to events and stuff like that, and you're somebody like me where you don't really go out like that and so anymore, so you don't have outfits for those type of occasions anymore. So then you get kind of stuck trying to purchase and buy items. So what I like to do is, once you tell me that you're inviting my fiance and I somewhere, first thing I do is look at our bills, look at our paycheck, look what we can and cannot afford. I start looking up hair, like wigs, if I'm going to get a wig done. And I make sure I calculate my bills, and my nails is always going to be done. But extra things, like I said, I always get my hair done. So I make sure my hair is going to be budgeted. So I budget in the cost of the wig and how much it's going to be to actually get my hair done. Another thing that I like to budget in is I start looking for my fiance's and I's outfit. I am the outfit person. I'm the person who finds our outfits, picks it out, coordinates it. I do all of that. So I make sure that's included. I don't pay nobody to do my makeup. I just do a simple boom, 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 1, 2, 3, call it a day. And then I'll know, like, okay, cool, if I don't feel like putting on my lashes the day of, I could just pay somebody to do my lash strips, or I love my hairstylist. That's another service that she offers as well. So I'll calculate that into there. So that's just something to take into consideration of if you're going to go somewhere. You want to make sure all your bills is paid on time first. You want to make sure if you're going on a trip, saving money little by little. You might have to make some sacrifices. It's okay. If you're trying to pay off debt, try to minimize at some point some of the things that you are spending money on. For instance, if you have a credit card that you're trying to pay off, you might need to sacrifice one little thing on your budget. And like I said, for me, that's my nails. How much I used to spend on my nails, it wasn't worth it. It was getting to be too expensive, and now I'm able to know how to pay off certain debts now. So that is my first little few tips for you guys, for beginners. I don't want to overwhelm you guys, and I'm still learning. We can learn together, but definitely let me know if you want me to touch base on anything else. I'm definitely more than happy to make a part 2 to this video, but I just wanted to get this video out there to you guys now. I hope you guys are having a beautiful, lovely day, and if you did enjoy this video, which I hope you did, I definitely hope you consider subscribing to my channel so that you can join the fam bam. I definitely love you guys, and we party and we cool over here, you guys. So don't forget to like, comment, and share. And until next time, aka this weekend, because on Sundays at 3 we drop our vlogs. So anyways, you guys, peace, love, and happiness. Peace. You can get